Orca or killer whale. Hundreds of legends are invented about this thunderstorm of the oceans. The first mentions of this mammal were made at the beginning of the first millennium AD. More than once you may have heard that these are gigantic predators, the like of which the world has not seen since the time of the Tyrannosaurus. Huge black and white mammals are smart, cunning, but who is an orca, a whale or a dolphin? Where does it live? What does it eat? And how does it hunt? And the most important thing, why does she never attack people? Today we will find out. All killer whales belong to the dolphin family. That is, they are dolphins. But unlike the dolphins we know, all the feathered and warm-blooded inhabitants of the sea flee from her in panic. This is truly a thunderstorm of the seas and oceans. It's good that it's easy to notice. They are large, up to 10 meters in length, brightly colored, black with a white belly, throat, and spots under the eyes. The fin on the back of males is high. It can reach 1.5 meters. In females, it is small and curved. The white spot above the eye can serve as a birthmark. Its forms vary greatly from individual to individual, so it is possible to identify individual representatives using it. They live over vast areas from Alaska to Antarctica and from Argentina to Iceland. They especially loved the coastal waters of the Aleutian Islands, coastal areas of Alaska, the northern Pacific Ocean, and the southern Bering Sea. The most interesting thing is that in the open ocean, killer whales do not pose a danger to humans. At least there is such a belief. But in captivity, they attacked their trainers several times. In their natural habitat, killer whales are not aggressive towards humans. There are no cases of death or attack. There are several interesting theories on this topic, which I will talk about a little later. Killer whales live in flocks. Research has shown that no other large animal has such strong bonds as the killer whale family. There are several generations in the pod at once, and it seems that the killer whales are not looking for a mate outside the community. As highly intelligent mammals, killer whales have a social structure. The basis of this organization is family. Typically, a killer whale family consists of a mother, calves, and adult sons. A small number of families form a group or flock. Sometimes one group reaches 18 individuals, and its members are strongly attached to each other. Groups may break up during periods of foraging or join together to hunt, due to the fact that the members of the flock are relatives to each other. Reproduction and mating occurs when several groups unite. Relationships within the family are very friendly and strong. Care for old and sick members of the pack is observed. The average lifespan of males is 35 years, and females 50, but history has known females who lived up to 90 years. And the oldest killer whale living on the planet is a record holder named Granny. She lived for 105 years, despite the fact that usually the age of killer whales rarely exceeds 80. Scientists learned about her in 1971. And then estimated her age at 60 years. When she appeared next to researchers, she was recognized by a scar on her fin and a peculiar crescent-shaped pattern on her side. During her entire life, Granny could have circumnavigated the world about 100 times during her migrations. She disappeared from the sight of scientists in the fall of 2016, having separated from the flock, and in 2017, the BBC published an article that she had a presentiment of death and deliberately sailed away from her relatives. The lifestyle and diet of killer whales also depend on their family. For example, killer whales living off the coast of Norway feed on herring and migrate in search of fish after it. These killer whales are called resident killer whales. Populations that prefer to hunt pinnipeds are called nomadic, since their migration zones extend along the coasts, and they are always found where there are seals or penguins. The third group is called offshore. These killer whales are the best hunters, as they attack large mammals, whales and sharks, as evidenced by large dorsal fins with scars and dents. Little has been studied about how they live, but scientists do know that they are genetically different from the two previous families and are usually smaller in size. When hunting, killer whales rely on hearing much more than sight and smell. For killer whales, echolocation is a means of communicating with each other and a way of obtaining food. The sounds these animals make are loud, melodic, and sharp. As a highly social species, they undoubtedly require an effective communication system. Representatives of different groups have certain sets of sounds that allow them to recognize members of their pack and are passed on from generation to generation. Killer whales' ears are not visible, but they are there. They are located behind the eyes and are very well developed. When hunting in dark or highly erratic waters, these mammals rely entirely on their hearing to navigate the water, communicate with their conspecifics, and hunt. Few sea inhabitants dare to fight back this powerful predator, so in its natural habitat, the killer whale has practically no enemies. Even a white shark is not a rival for her, but prey. The exception is humpback whales, which have been observed more than once in actions that interfere with the hunting of killer whales. There are cases when whales are the first to approach killer whales during their hunt for other cetaceans or pinnipeds, but more often they protect their young from attacks by hungry predators. These giants have long and very mobile fins, which, when overgrown with mollusks, can be quite dangerous weapons. The nature of their confrontation is not fully understood. Some researchers believe that a certain form of altruism takes place here, often found in wildlife, when animals rush to protect not only their relatives, but also representatives of another species. According to another version, humpback whales respond to the sounds of killer whales, and although carnivorous individuals are rather silent during an attack or immediately after it, they quite actively talk to each other. Perhaps these conversations attract the attention of whales. Orcas maintain parity in relationships with tiger sharks, which are very fast and no less bloodthirsty, and sperm whales, which skillfully control their tail, striking precisely at the target, and also have teeth. A powerful blow from the tail of this heavyweight is capable of not only stunning the killer whale, but also killing it. Therefore, killer whales try to stay away from sperm whales. Nature has endowed the killer whale with a powerful intellect, which, successfully developing in the process of evolution, elevated it to the top of the food chain of marine life. This gives her the opportunity to build complex strategic moves and apply them in droves. When hunting, they are extremely inventive. They have their own approach to each victim. Some people can be chased across the sea for a longer time, apparently enjoying the walk, while others are better attacked with a ram. Another amazing fact is that they anatomically accurately guess the weak points of unfortunate victims: gills, head, or stomach. Killer whales have no equal in hunting skills. To understand how tough killer whales are hunters, it is enough to say that they have a working scheme for each type of prey, with different tactics in each family. To catch a seal, it is not enough to move quickly and have sharp teeth. It requires intelligence and ingenuity. Some families of killer whales cut off seals while swimming, others set up ambushes, and some, during high tide, swim to the shore, where on the edge the seals rest carefree and begin to create waves. The next wave simply washes the seal off the edge of the cliff. Mainly females hunt in this way. The 1.5 meter fin of males attracts the attention of seals, and they crawl away from the edge of the rock. Even after getting far enough, pinnipeds are not always able to escape because killer whales can also jump out of the water. True, sometimes they get carried away and cannot return to the water on their own, but a seal that has been eaten will not care. And the penguins are also unlucky, because having noticed them, the killer whales launch a cunning attack. They swim up from below and simply break the ice flow with a wave. The prey that fell into the water is now completely in their power. When hunting fish, killer whales use a group method. They line up in a chain and swim at a speed of 5 kilometers per h. At the same time, Their auditory capabilities allow them to hear each other and navigate the entire group. Killer whales almost always attack their prey collectively. Predators surround a school of small fish, driving them as tightly as possible, arranging a carousel around them. When a pod of killer whales discovers a fish, it presses it to the shore or squeezes it into a ball. Then one individual, or several one after another, dives into the center of the circle and hits it with all its might with its tail, stunning the fish. This operation requires approximately 10 individuals. With fish, everything is clear, and in fact, not surprising. The small fish cannot fight back against large hunters. But how do they manage to defeat the great white shark? Many sea inhabitants try to stay away from this monster with killer eyes and 5-centimeter teeth. But if the toothy dolphins decide to bite the shark's fin, the shark has little chance of surviving. Several killer whales drive a great white shark to the very surface. Then one of the hunters delivers a powerful blow with its nose to the body so that the shark flies out of the water, rises several meters into the air, and falls back into the water, completely disoriented. Here, using the experience accumulated by many generations, the killer whales turn the stunned shark upside down, knowing for sure that in an inverted position it can neither resist nor swim. The tactics are similar with whales, only the heavyweight must be rammed several times and bitten fairly, because stopping, for example, a blue whale is very difficult. And even despite this, every year scientists find traces of her teeth on the body of different whales, and many have suffered more than once. More than a third of humpback whales, each weighing as much as 10 elephants, received scars from the teeth of predators. From the point of view of a large marine predator, a person is a much easier prey than a seal or penguin. It swims slower and is not as agile. And when a person is wearing a dark wetsuit, it looks even more like a seal. However, killer whales somehow distinguish between people and seals, and if a diver swims around a pod of killer whales whose natural prey is seals, then they will not attack him and maybe even allow themselves to be stroked. Some researchers believe that killer whales do not attack people because of their highly developed intelligence, and immediately understand that this is not their usual prey. It is possible that this theory is correct because stupid predators like sharks or crocodiles eat people. But on the other hand, these predators meet people much more often than killer whales. Sharks often swim in shallow waters near crowded beaches, and killer whales often try to stay away from the shore. Also, killer whales mainly live in northern waters. Thus, a person is simply exotic for killer whales, and when they meet him, they cannot understand whether they need to eat him or not. Well, you can write right now in the comments whether you believe the words of scientists that killer whales are harmless to humans. Write your opinion in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click on the bell to be the first to watch the new video.